Well, welcome back, everyone, to Riverbend Discovery Center. As always, I'm gonna be your little guide for today. My name is Leaf, and it's so great to have you guys back here for a little bit of a shorter episode. Nothing too crazy today. It's just that Frazzle released the Porcupine mod, and I really wanted to use it, so we're making the start of a little bit of a North American area. This is going to be a little bit of a kind of different thing as to what we've been doing previously. So obviously Riverbend has kind of been on, a little bit of a grid, a little bit of more angular builds, but this time around I do want to get a little bit more familiar with kind of doing stuff a little bit more organically, and I thought a nice little North American area would be perfect for that. You would definitely see a lot of this stuff in terms of, like American roadside zoos, American lower budget zoos, and stuff along that lines, and that's something I really wanted to focus on today. I thought it'd be a really awesome way to start off an area with the American porcupine. So of course it's made by Frazzle, and it looks really awesome. Only problem is it doesn't climb, but hey, we can manage with that, alright? It looks pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I immediately wanted to bring it right into not Sugar Pine. Wow, that's a little bit of a throwback. No, I really want to bring it into Riverbend. Only problem is that it does kind of crash some people's games. We're not really sure as to why it's doing that. I think it may be something along the lines of GPU or hardware issues, because it is a very polygon intensive model. It is something that some people might not be able to play with ever if your PCs aren't fit enough to handle it. With all that being said, though, here we are making the habitat for it. The habitat is nothing crazy. This is something that you would definitely see in a lot more lower budget zoos. Porcupines tend to sleep a lot. They don't tend to require a lot of land. They do require a lot of arboreal space, which is exactly what we do give them. But I really wanted to have this nice lead-in habitat right over here. And keep in mind, this is a lower budget zoo, so it is something that I do want to make clear. We're not building the best habitats over here. As much as I would love to give these guys great habitats, it's not what we're going for with the vibes of this zoo. The vibes of this zoo are very much, yeah, we can throw porcupines in here, I guess. So with all that being said, we're just going through and adding some climb-proof barriers over here as a way to make sure that they don't escape. Porcupines are exceptionally good climbers, mostly the North American and South American kind. The Indian and African ones aren't really the best climbers, but I'm sure that they probably can. They're more so burrowers. All things considered, though, we're adding a little bit of backstage area, and I think we actually do get a crash right there, so unfortunately we do have to do a little bit work trying to get back what we lost, but we didn't lose much. We had the porcupines delivered to the habitat, but I think it may be a female porcupine issue. I don't know. I don't really know. I tried looking at it and it broke my brain, and usually I can fix these kinds of issues, so God knows what happened with it, but I'm sure we can figure it out soon enough so that everyone can enjoy it. I do give the porcupines a little bit of backstage access, nothing too crazy. It's something that you would definitely see like a smaller house or shed before. You can probably imply that they have some heaters in there so that they stay warm during the winter. You can assume that they probably prepare some food back there. They may have like a bigger preparing area, probably where the flamingos are. They'll probably end up using that building for preparing food. I'm not really sure, but we do copy over that little bit of a double airlock so the keepers can get into the habitat without needing to worry about the porcupine escaping. And we essentially double those doors up on both sides. Essentially what the rest of this speed build is, it's going to be foliage galore. But before we actually get to that, I do add a little bit more infrastructure to that building over there. You wouldn't really see a wooden shack be propped up in the middle of the area. I do have it with like those wood beams on the bottom, just to make it feel a little bit more cohesive with a quote-unquote theme. It's not really going to be too themed throughout here. I just thought, they would make do with some fallen trees and stuff like that, but we're not going to really centralize ourselves on a current theme. We just have it be kind of, a little bit more clean, I guess you kind of describe it as. I'm not really sure, but I'm really having a lot of fun with it, and we do use those new climbing posts for the guys. Unfortunately, I tried to pose our porcupine on top of those, but they didn't want to be placed on top of there, so that's a little bit of a shame, but you know what, no harm, no foul. We can enjoy ourselves, we can still get by a little bit. But moving on through there, we give them a little bit more props and stuff, just keeping them happy with some enrichment. I think we throw in like a box or two in there just so that they can play with something. And then it is on to the foliage. So I had a blast with this. I don't know. I really haven't been doing too much foliage work in here. I know essentially half the time I'm just covering up areas in between areas, but this is the first time I was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna make the foliage the central aspect of this build, and I think it came out relatively well. I do have a little bit of a kind of divot area, kind of like how we saw within the savannah and the pathway, like how we have a little bit of a gravel divot. I have the same thing over here, just in case if, you know, it's raining, there's always a place for water to run off into. That's something that you do want to keep in mind when you're building kind of zoos, kind of like that, in more so a realism kind of stance. Just keep in mind, like, all the elements that may happen in your zoos, be it rain, snow, sleet, whatever. Always have a backup plan for whenever that stuff would happen. But yeah, speaking of that savanna habitat, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to Neil. He was able to give me some pointers on terms of like what animals would fit in there. I think we will get rid of those dromedary camels. We'll probably sell them out. I think we're also going to sell out our brolgas and change them out for a Japanese crane, just because, I don't know, I feel like it would make a lot more sense within the context of the zoo itself. You wouldn't really see those rare species get represented. And the dromedaries are very aggressive when it comes to a habitat like that, so thank you, Neil, for that, and thank you pretty much everyone else in the comments down below for always giving me pointers on how to improve the zoo for a little bit more realism. You guys always help me out in the end. It's really awesome being able to work with you guys and just get all that stuff figured out. We add a few more rocks down there as well. I really love this view up until the porcupine habitat, well, more like the porcupine cage. It just looks really cool and it feels very forested, but without being like overly grown and stuff like that. That's something that I probably do want to get into a little bit later down the line, but we can figure that out as we go on. The nettle is coming in clutch for being a nice, beautiful green plant to add as well. And we got to give a huge shout out to ZZ. I'm not sure if we shouted him out just yet, but we added the little pretzel stand as well as a bunch of foliage from his foliage packs, because he was able to combine so many foliage pieces together to create new plants that look insanely different from what we have in game, and it's just really great to work with these. It's just really awesome thing, and I really do recommend that you guys check them out, because he is an incredible builder, he's an incredible blueprint maker, and it's just really awesome to see his little mark on this series, because I guess I kind of inspired his own little series based off of Riverbend. But here we are, B-roll. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by, taking the time to watch this. You guys are always amazing for that. All things being said, though, can't wait to see you guys in the next episode of Riverbend. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Enjoy the rest. Bye-bye now.